Non-stop, y'all, to the beat, y'all. The body rock, y'all, so let's rock, y'all. Non-stop, y'all, to the beat, y'all. The body rock, y'all, so let's rock, y'all. Non-stop, y'all, to the beat, y'all.
Well, hello to you all. As I was introduced, my organization and myself, we just started 6 months ago. So I will not tell you a story about all the successes and a clear strategy which is already in place and all kind of nice results from social media and targets. I would like to tell you about the road we are taking and the difficulties and the chances we encounter on this road. So just in September last year, we started this new marketing organization for the region of Brabant, which is located in the south of the Netherlands. We have like 2.6 million inhabitants, which is almost like a big city in other regions in the world. Still, Brabant is a quite strong economical region for the Netherlands, and we have very nice cities, some more historical and some more hip and technical. So we have a lot to offer. However, we also know that Brabant as a brand maybe is known in the Netherlands. We have a certain image. Others can tell you what that image is. I think it's open-minded people, happy people, not grumpy at all. My organization is taking care of marketing for the leisure sector. So I would like to tell you about becoming digital, social, and a networking organization. First, I would like to tell you about this fresh start and why we had to make this fresh start. I'll tell you a little bit about our organization, and then specifically I would like to go into 4 focal points which we choose to start with. And in those focal points I will mention some lessons learned. Okay, this fresh start. Why did we have to do this? The province of North Brabant, not only the government, but also the companies, the leisure companies and the larger companies, but also the knowledge institutes, together they really found an urge to make a change. We had a drop in the increase of visitors, so there is still increase, but not as high as in other parts of the Netherlands. And mainly the expenditure of those visitors, on average, is lower than in the rest of the Netherlands. And that has to do with the fact that we attract a lot of day visitors and not so much visitors from farther away, who more often spend like double the money because they stay overnight. The province, the organizational, the government, was bold enough to make this change, to dare to change like 360 degrees. And I'm in the picture, I was bold enough to take on this task because it's, well, quite a difficult and complex assignment we took on. We did not slowly evolve an existing team into a new strategy. What we did decide, or what was decided, was that we had to really start fresh and new. And this was quite a radical step. So there was a new team, a new strategy, which I will focus on later, and a sort of new office. This is one picture of my beautiful office. It's like a working place because we are in an old, beautiful industrial site where the new offices are created, and this office is not ready yet. They're building and hammering away while we have our meetings, which is sometimes quite annoying, but on the other hand is a beautiful metaphor almost for what we are doing, because we are actually building the new organization while we're already open. I'll tell you a bit more about that later. So about VisitBrabant, what is it that we are planning to do and are already doing, but really evolve to do better each month to come? We present activities to visitors, activities, venues, really focused on their personal preferences. So it's really designed around the visitor and also designed in each step of the customer journey, like Thomas already indicated, is quite important. And on the other side, we offer entrepreneurs services to improve their supply. This is, I think, quite well known for DMOs to do, and I'll tell you later on how we do it maybe a little bit different. Another characteristic of VisitBrabant is that we are a network organization. You just saw my team, which is a small team, just 10 people maybe, and that's everything together, so not just the social media department, for example. But we have a network organization, so we really cooperate with the cities, with universities, with other intermediaries, institutions, with governments, but also with locals, and I'll tell you about that later. So in theory, we're not 10 people in my team, but 2.6 million. VisitBrabant is also characterized as being a laboratory. We work quite experimental. We do it in an evolutionary way, step by step, and with continuous interaction. So this new focus, how are we trying to be so different from a more traditional marketing organization, which existed, of course, before we started? I think there are 4 points in which I would like to look into with you together, and that is that we really shift from a quite regional perspective to a much more international perspective. Of course, we do that because we want to attract the visitor from farther away, and before we started, that was not really done by the regional marketing organization. The second point is that we really shifted to a much more digital approach. The third one is that we proceeded in a process of open innovation, which is a challenge, but also gives high rewards. And of course, that we adopted the social approach, which is more than social media, but I'll tell you more about that later. So first, the new focus, and to think big, which is for a few of you very natural already, but for us in Brabant, it was not natural on a more provincial level at that time. We really had to explain that in order to work international, to attract those people, you have to think international. We want to focus on the short break market, therefore attract people from farther away. Well, that was not so easy, because Brabant, we don't have a landscape like Tuscany, we don't have an Eiffel Tower, so the story is not telling itself. But we need like a story which attracts internationally in order to reach out. So we chose now to start with annual themes. And the first one here mentioned is the Van Gogh theme, which is a very strong asset of our region, because Van Gogh, Vincent van Gogh, was born in Brabant, lived there for half his life, painted half of all his paintings in Brabant. And so we really can attract people to experience the life, the teenage years of Van Gogh in Brabant. For this, we cooperate, of course, with Amsterdam, because they have a lovely museum where the paintings are. But we find out that more and more travelers are very interested in experiencing the exact surroundings of the artist. Where was he born? Where did he meet his first girlfriend? So we make Van Gogh more than his paintings. And we are very successful already with this. We attract a lot of international press and visitors, which, of course, is why we do this. Next year, we'll have Hieronymus Bosch, also a famous artist, a painter, from a much earlier age, making very beautiful and lovely pictures also. He was born also in Brabant, and the year after, 2017, we would like to focus on Dutch design. Design is really centered in Eindhoven, a city in Brabant. There are other places in Brabant as well connected to the design theme. And again, we would like to do this together with other parties in the Netherlands, because the Holland brand is, of course, a strong brand, and we can cooperate with that. So that is the way we use storylines to attract an audience from abroad. Of course, what lessons do we learn? We have to, each time, match this international central theme with local suppliers, because that's what it's all about. We want to give our entrepreneurs in the leisure sector a stage almost, a method on which they can connect. So we explain to these entrepreneurs the story of Van Gogh, his life in Brabant, and they can connect and make their product development along this storyline. And that works very well. We also learned that it's very wise for us to connect to national themes, because we are, as Brabant, are a small region, and we have to really work with forces that are bigger than ours. I sometimes have to explain that, well, not sometimes, I often have to explain that within my region, because they sort of think, well, we can do it on ourselves, and those Holland people, that's the north, those Amsterdam people, we don't need them. And I always say, of course we need them, like we need our Belgian friends to work together and make the product stronger. But that's not always what people expect you to say. And a third point, a learning point, is that you have to show guts. If we want to present Van Gogh, we do not have to make like postcards with his beautiful paintings. We should do something different. And this picture in the background is one of those examples where we created, together with the city of Eindhoven, the builder Heijmans and a very famous artist, Daan Rozengaarde, we created this cycle path, which is very Dutch, which is very high techno, which connects excellent to Eindhoven, but which also shows a Van Gogh painting, The Starry Night. And if you come there as a cyclist and the night is falling and it's getting dark, then this cycle path is lighting up in a very beautiful way. This thing, before we had it implemented, attracted some criticism. Do we really need that? What is it costing? Why would anybody come for a cycle path? Well, we showed them all wrong. And of course, it was a gamble because we weren't sure before. But it attracts a lot of attention from international cyclist lovers all over the world. And it's now in the top 10 list of the cycle paths in the world, which you have to see if you are a cycle lover. So that is an excellent outcome. So the theme as a magnet is really working. Okay, the second focus, what did we do to change into a new organization with a new strategy? We said we want to be like 99% digital. What I mean is that we don't only have a website with a portal where people can find what to do, but we use social media quite extensively. We like to try and implement transmedia like Bluetooth beacons. And of course, why do we do that? I don't have to explain this audience, I think. It's because it's fast, it's broad, you attract interesting groups, you can target it. We don't have funds also for traditional media, even if we wanted to. And I think to do this in a very digital way, combining also with transmedia and social media, we can also make a nice combination of welcoming and innovative. And those two characteristics we would like to believe are very connected to Brabant. So, this digital platform, it's really helping the visitor along its route, his customer journey. And we try to combine all the visitor data to market development and product development. So we help our entrepreneurs also with everything we can measure, we tag everything, we can really find out everything about how a customer is using the platform and what's happening on social media. This is an example of how it shows. So what you see here is a digital platform. It's still under construction, but we really try to combine the social aspect, the storytelling, the design around the visitor experience. I'll tell you a bit later about one of those specific features you already saw, which is called Ask a Local, a probably known concept to you. So lessons learned. Well, by choosing the digital approach, we really sort of had to resist also the temptations of traditional media. I'm not sure my own team had to resist the temptation. It was more like our surrounding, the stakeholders we had to resist them for asking for traditional media. For example, a government organization sometimes is really expecting the billboards alongside the route, because then they can really see and almost feel that we are broadcasting. Whether that's the best channel, they're sometimes less interested in. And we really had to resist it, because if you would have chosen to do both, then I think we would have watered down the effect with the small funds we had. So don't compromise, the third point mentioned here. You also don't have to be afraid to experiment. This digital platform is still evolving and building, and we couldn't have made it from a blueprint. So we really try to learn by doing. I'll tell a bit more about that later. And don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to be bold and use specific projects, not mainstream. So, the third point of our new focus, and that is called the open innovation method. What did we do? As I said, we did not use a blueprint. We did not know, and still do not know, where we will end. It's almost like a serendipity process. We try things, we find out, we learn. I learned today, so I'm taking a lot of your ideas with me. And we're building a system with a group of experts. So there's not one company making this digital approach or this social approach or our brand. It's a group of the best people of Brabant who work together. And it's like Lego blocks. We build the system by adding blocks. And if one of the blocks is not good enough, we remove it and add another one. This is one way of open innovation, to include more people than just a few companies. But we did more. We took another step. We released even the website, the portal, in like a beta version. So it's not a complete version. If you would download it now, not everything is working as it should. But we did do this in order to get comments, feedback, learn by doing. And we did that to get a better result in a faster way at lower costs. I must say, lessons learned, this is a critical thing. This was a critical choice because we also experienced, of course, that a management expectation is very important if you do it like this. And we were very clear not to broadcast the whole website and make a public campaign. You can't do that with a beta version. But then still, the stakeholders around you, they do not always get the idea of being imperfect. So if you try open innovation, you really have to be very clear on your stakeholder management and expectations management. A second lesson learned is that if you work with a group instead of one company, if you involve a lot of people and partners, then the legal aspect, the juridical aspect is quite complex because you're not sure always who is owner, who is client, who is contractor. I feel that we, in this new world of sharing, need some new models for that. And we had to invent them ourselves. And that is an interesting thing, but it's also a complex thing. And the third one we discovered is that for the governmental organization or others who are your main contractors, it's quite difficult to work with such a system because they fund a project in which the outcome is unknown. And although we agreed on doing that when we were starting, now we find that they sort of have an urge to tick boxes, to be able to decide whether they are happy with your results or not. And well, that is also interesting and sometimes difficult to deal with. The fourth new focus we took, of course, otherwise maybe I wouldn't be here, is the social approach. We really wanted to bring social into the heart of the strategy. So already we are investing a lot of effort in our social communities, and that is working out very well. We promote interaction, so also our website, but all of our strategies and actions and campaigns will be based on interaction. We do that for sharing the stories of Brabant, because as other speakers also indicated, we really believe that a positive story from one of our locals or one of our visitors is much stronger than when we, as a marketing organization, would just tell our visitors that we're wonderful. We would like to use crowdsourcing in order to user-generated content, and social traveling we feel is a trend we would like to hop on. And this last point, the social traveling bit, I would like to tell you a little bit about plans will start in May this year, and that is the Ask a Local concept. I think you've heard about it. It's been done in other parts of Europe as well, and we hope to take it to the next level. We create a digital place where visitors and locals can meet and interact, ask questions, get tips and answers. And we like locals to share their tips about Brabant, etc. And that is a sort of double-faced campaign, because when we will start hiring, or not hiring, but attract locals to become part of this community, we at the same time make them a little bit more proud of Brabant, we hope, because Brabanders are a modest people. They are not used to telling how wonderful we are, and at the same time they're proud but not telling. So we think we can do that. And on the other hand, we help visitors. We help them create an experience which is focused on their personal needs. So Ask a Local concept will be taking place in May. Maybe in Brabant it's a bit different than what we benchmarked from other European regions. What we can do different is that we make it very personal. So each local will have a profile, a face, can have an opinion. I heard in other presentations about how to let go a little bit, which is also scary, of course. But we really feel that we should let the locals partly decide, of course, what they want to tell. So you have to really make yourself open-minded to that. And as an organization, we will meet them, we will connect with them on a personal level. We have the perfect skill for that. Being a region of 2.6 million means that you can connect to people, and that would be much more difficult, I think, for a whole country or a larger region. A city perhaps would do that perfectly, but they would have more of a problem to get a broader result of locals who would be able to answer all the questions. What we also use is a social fabric of Brabant. We are a region with a lot of volunteers, with the highest percentage even in the Netherlands. It's like everybody is member of a certain cultural, sportive group or hobby, and those people are very active in their hours that they volunteer to do things. So third, what we do different is that we work with intermediaries to activate the locals. And we are already doing this in also a beta version. And we attract locals because we, for example, ask a, let's say, cultural organization, a theater festival is maybe a good example. And we ask them that they contact their locals. They contact their locals and ask them to become part of this community. And what's in for the festival organization is that they will get a lot of locals who know a lot about their festival. So they will make sure that our channel is used also for their festival. And this works very good. So here is like a sketch. You can see it's still not active, but on the drawing board. But we're almost there. And what we will do also is add some fun. We will add gamification in order to not only attract the locals, but also keep them and get them very involved. And there are some examples here of what we do with them. We reward them. We will organize all kinds of things for them. We make challenges. people can become super local and then be invited to great parties, etc. Well, the why. Of course, this concept ties in very well with our need for welcoming and innovative. We know social trending is a topic and we would like to go along with that. It's trending. There is a lot of competition, of course, in all the social media channels, so you have to improve and do something extra, we feel. And we have a proud social community, which is there for us to grasp almost. So we would like to use that asset of Brabant. This is the Red Hat Day in Breda, which is a fun thing, and each year all the red hats, they combine and they meet, and this gives great pictures, as you can see. So, lessons learned. No surprises there, I think. Social must be in the heart of your strategy. So we don't have a normal organization plus a social media unit. Second point also means then that everybody in the organization is working with it. So it's not just our communication department, but also our business development and everything. And we use the special features of our region in order to make it a success. So those are a few of the things I would like to share with you. And please follow us, especially after May, when we made some new steps and improve everything we do. Thank you very much.